Hello.
And good morning, everyone. 8:15 here on Extra Shot. I just posted to my Instagram story to watch Extra Shot right here on Facebook Live. So you see, I have to work all the socials, right, Dina?
That's right. Yes, we're always
thing.
on our tablets, phones, and everything else. That includes internet.
And then trying to talk and say the right words at the right time while getting alerts that we have a new email.
But you said Gmail's down or just yours?
Yeah, there were some issues with Gmail. Don, one of our directors, brought it up because I was having trouble with Google, period. And he was like, yeah, something's wrong with Google. But I can't speak for you at home. I don't know what's going on with your life. That's just my
with your life.
Whatever's happening in your life.
But good heads up, if you are having the same issues and you need to get an email out ASAP, just go on and check and make sure all is good. Again, if you have Gmail. Okay. That's enough news, right? Let's get to even more news, but this is more of a talker story. It's something that has sparked a ton of interest online because people are feeling a certain way about this story when it comes to the UC Berkeley police officer who was seen via video taking away the money from a food vendor on campus. This was after the game on Saturday, from my understanding. And so what happened is Martin Flores, who is the gentleman who, let me turn this down really quick, it's a little distracting. Martin Flores rolled on this moment that was happening. You see the incident right here. Here's the police officer. He's taking the money. And this from a food vendor, I'm assuming, because I just went to a football game on Saturday. It was at USC. It was outside the Cal football game, but I ate from a vendor that looked just like that, which is a hot dog vendor. In this case, yeah, you see the hot dogs. We call those back in Los Angeles gutter dogs, right? Because it's a good old hot dog wrapped in bacon, and you get all the fun stuff in it. But of course, this person didn't have a permit, and it's the issue that this police officer saw. This person didn't have a permit, so he takes his money. Well, Martin Flores, who rolled on the video, said, this isn't right. What are you doing? Why are you basically taking from a guy who's just trying to work hard and provide food for people and earn some cash on the side? So he posted it online. It is up to 135,000 shares on Facebook. I'm sure at this point it's reached even more. He has since reached a GoFundMe, or since created a GoFundMe account to want to create the funds for the legal defense of this poor gentleman, or in his words, the poor gentleman. So far, $10,000 has been raised. There's also a petition rolling around that says they want this police officer taken out of the unit. But some people will say, well, this person didn't have a permit. Rules are rules, and if you don't have a permit, you shouldn't be cooking there, and something like this could happen. Others are saying, yeah, but it's a guy. How many times does a little kid have a lemonade stand on the outside of their house? Do they have a permit? Is that right? Do you take away from someone who is just trying to cook or to brew up some lemonade or tea or coffee or whatever it may be? But where do you guys stand when it comes to this?
I see two sides to this story. One, I feel for the guy who's just trying to make a buck, clearly working really hard to try to make some money.
Sure,
that's
my
mic.
one of us.
So I get that side, and again, if you start nailing him for this, at what point do you stop? There are kids who have lemonade stands, as Megan said. There are people who set things up to sell on sides of roads all the time. However, without him having a permit, I would go as far as to say he probably didn't have the right documentation put together to be able to sell food on the side of the road. Because you have to remember, when you have something permitted that has food involved, that means that it's gone through a cleanliness test, that it's being made in a kitchen that is sanitary, that it's being made with the products that you say you're making them with. So when you're handling food and you're giving it out to the masses or selling it to the masses, you could potentially have a lawsuit on your hands if somebody gets sick. And if you didn't get a permit and you didn't go forward to get the right documents to prove that you should be able to sell food and that you have a cleanliness expectation in the way that you're actually preparing the food, then I could see this going really badly for this gentleman as well. So in a way, the permit isn't necessarily meant to shut him down from business. He might be able to obtain that permit and then to be able to also keep him open and to be able to make sure that he is doing it in a safe way and in a way that is going to be okay for other people to consume his food, and not potentially have a lawsuit on his hands, because he could be also held up for a lot of money if someone says they get sick from his stand and he didn't take the proper legal measures to be there. So I kind of see two sides to the story.
Right, and I get that perspective. My issue was more with taking of the money, because let's say the vendor does not have a permit, and he's selling hot dogs or street meat, as they call it in New York. What was taking 40 or 60 or 80
True.
bucks out of his wallet gonna do?
Right.
Give him a citation. He can appear in court, and then the judge and the court can decide if he owes money, what he should have to pay. And I understand the cop said something like he's booking it into evidence, because, but again, what does 40, 60, 80 bucks in the evidence have to do with this situation? To me, that was
the issue.
That was the issue. And sometimes when you are in an authoritative position, a part of showing, not respect, but showing a level of restraint or maturity is to say, you know what, maybe I don't have to take the money out of this man's wallet. I already gave him a ticket. He's already going to have to go to court. He's already going to have to go through the proper channels now. But I took the money that he was going to take home for his family. Like that. That's what I had a problem with.
And those who were on that side of the argument, I think our light just went off. Just a heads up there. Those who went on that side of the argument are saying the same exact thing. So you have people like Glenn McBurney Jr. who says this is a bad situation. He was doing nothing wrong, but trying to feed himself and his family. This cop should. But then he goes on to say that something bad should happen to the cop. Lee Johnson, no permit, no sales. We have laws that are in place for health and sanitation issues. The money was booked into evidence, so it wasn't stolen. Lynette Sallet, he should have just given this guy a ticket, not taken all his money. It was heartbreaking. I think it's the human side of people who see this and go, gosh, we know that, okay, there are rules and regulations in place, but did he have to go this far? Vicky, wow, this is insane. Christian Cavallo, that guy Martin was unnecessarily rude to the officer. He's talking about the guy who rolled on the video, Martin. That vendor needed to be given that citation and have the money confiscated. No permit, no profits. Gigi Gerardo, the cop could have given him a warning, explained he needed to get the permit and then move on. I'm sorry for all the popping on the mic.
And then there's one comment I read. It says, how does the police officer know that all of the money in his wallet was from sales?
Exactly. Right. That's very true.
So again, I don't know. Fortunately and unfortunately at the same time, it was caught on camera, and we can really discuss this because, I mean, at some point, you know, it always comes down to the conversation. Yes, the law is the law, and yes, things are written, but everything isn't black and white. Everything, there are shades of gray in every situation. And with this, what do you think the shade of gray is? Was it that the man was cooking and everybody else gets to cook? So if you're shutting down this vendor, you need to shut down every other vendor? Are we going to now have street meat patrols out here? Or was it the idea of this police officer hitting all points from A to Z, where it's I can give you the citation, I can take money, book it into evidence, and shut you down at the same time? It's just so much going on with this. It was it was a lot.
Well, and again, I see a lot of you saying he should have just had the permit, and then we wouldn't have had the issue. Would he have been able to get a permit? I mean, you have to be able to prove that you are cooking out of a very clean kitchen. Is he cooking out of a clean kitchen? I don't know. And I'm not speculating. I'm just saying, like, there are other steps you have to take. So I wonder if having the permit, yes, that would have made sure that he was following all these other safety measures. And then for people buying the food, that would have ensured that you were likely going to be safe eating it. And so for a family walking up to one of those stands, I could see you hoping these people have done their due diligence to make sure that you're buying. Or are you going up to these places not really thinking about it? Are you like, you know what, who cares? I don't care. It's a hot dog after a game. I just want a hot dog.
You go somewhere, and if the cook got a Jerry curl, 2 gold teeth, and he's wearing the cookout sandals, I'm eating the food because it's going to be delicious. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That food, those hot dogs were probably fire.
Jerry curl.
Right. It was 2 gold teeth.
2 gold teeth. Not just one.
Like, the food was probably fire. Like, let's be honest.
And let's be honest, I had a full-on hot dog. I don't even like hot dogs, but I know that when I go to LA and I see a gutter dog, I'm gonna eat it because you have all the different spices and you have the mayonnaise, mustard.
Ooh,
I ate the entire thing. Like, the last time I had mayo, mustard, and a hot dog wrapped in bacon was who knows when, but it's so good. But I know that's beside the point, and we want to get technical. Yes, all of those things, the technicality part of it, yes, wasn't supposed to be there if you're not permitted, but it is the taking of the money that I think just
is the issue.
As a human, you irk because you could have been that person, right? Because you're not. If you're not a cop, you're not a person in authority. Then you are out there on the street, you know, and doing your thing. And if you're breaking the law, yes, sometimes you know that something's gonna happen, or at least it could happen. But it was the idea of stripping him of everything he has worked hard for.
Yeah.
But
do we have any police officers or sheriff's deputies or commanders or sergeants watching us right now? I'm curious to see what other people would have done in this situation, because what constitutes evidence? Couldn't the officer have just taken a picture of the stand instead of taking the money and said, you know what, I'm going to cite you. Here's a citation. There is going to be a fee associated with this if you can't present the proper permitting. I'm going to take a picture of your stand so that we know when we come back to this matter, this is what I saw today. Keep your money. Like, could that have resolved it for you guys if it was just a photo taken? Or do you think the police officer was in the wrong for even, you know, issuing the citation? Do you think that shouldn't have happened?
Well, again, if it requires that he should have got a cite, if it requires, if you do not have a permit to sell street meat, you need to get a citation, then give him the citation. But again, when you take money from somewhere, that's like withdrawing all of the money from someone's account because grandma put $20 in there and you're like, I need all the money that grandma gave you. Grandma didn't give you $200. She gave me $20. So like, why are you taking all of the money out of my wallet? That part seemed unnecessary to me.
I hear you.
Let's see. Ruben Almanzar, I say let the guy be, and honestly, I'd rather him be selling food rather than selling drugs. Police need to get on them, get on the real crimes, not this petty stuff. But there are people who are obviously on all sides of this.
Yeah, Krista says the citation is necessary. Taking the money was wrong. It just looked bad taking it out of his wallet, period. So I hear you on that, Krista. I think the citation, if that's what you need to do, sure. But taking the money, I think, did take it to another level.
Okay, so let's get on this mic thing. So I think, Cornelia, let's go ahead and take yours off too and hold it like this, because it's just popping all over in the ears of our viewers, and I'm sure that it's so annoying.
I'm gonna hold it like this.
I don't know if this will help or if we need to switch my mic.
Is there a different mic around here that is popping? Because it is none of ours.
Let me turn mine off and see if it happens.
Okay.
It didn't happen, huh?
Keep going.
Well, we'll all just hold it. How about that? We'll hold it like a match.
Okay,
it's like a birthday candle.
Yes, we'll hold it like a light.
Shoot, I'm sorry, friends.
Oh,
We'll turn it back on and see.
No, Bill said it's mine.
That's you. Whew, gosh, I was just getting here that noise in the ear.
Sorry, friends.
We'll keep chiming in, guys.
Keep chiming in. I know you guys have a lot to say about this, and we will wait and see what happens, and if that GoFundMe account that Martin, the guy who took the video, rolled on the video, if he raises enough money for the legal matters for this gentleman, Juan, who was selling the hot dogs on the side of the street. We'll see what happens with all of that. Keep you posted.